I don't like usually giving announcements at the end of church. You're all ready to go home. But since it's such a historic day in the life of the church, I referred earlier in the Universal Prayer to World Youth Day, and I want you to imagine for a moment this congregation here, about 40 times the size of us here today, equals perhaps the largest Super Bowl, which was last year. 80 times what we have here today is a typical World Cup game, right? About 80 times this. So if my calculations are correct, I hope they're correct, about 800 times the size of this group, 800 times at least the size of this group, 10 times bigger than a World Cup game, right? 20 times bigger than a Super Bowl game. This morning and last night in Portugal, there were like 1.5 million young adults with Pope Francis celebrating their faith. I think that's something we should celebrate first of all. That's amazing, right? Our church is, we might have our issues and our problems, but our church is alive and growing and youthful and joyful. And the Pope gave a message last night, a meeting with all the young people, and he said something that I think we should take with us, and it relates to the deacon's homily, which he talked about the glory of the face of Jesus. The glory of the face of Jesus, the glory of the face of the Christian, and that's what Pope Francis told last night to the young people, is joy. He said that joy it's the essence of our experience with Jesus if we've met Jesus, and it is the essence, it's why we are missionary. The joyful Christian is outgoing. And so as we get ready to go back to school this year, as we go into our work, as we go into our communities, I would just invite us to ask ourselves and ask the Lord, how joyful am I today at this moment in my life? Am I joyful about who I am? Am I joyful about who God has made me? Am I joyful about where I'm going in life? Am I joyful about my eternal destiny? And I would invite you, if you are not, let today be a pivot point of your life by asking Jesus to give you the same joy that 1.5 million of our young people found last night and this morning in Lisbon, Portugal. Ask Jesus to give you a share of his joy, because we're all called to have that joy. And if you are joyful already in the Lord, well, I invite you to multiply it and begin sharing it, because the joy of our culture, the joy of our society depends on you and me. And if we're a mess, it's usually because we ourselves as Christians are not sharing the joy of the Lord at school, at work, at play and sports, wherever we go in life. So let's each take back to heart. Let's take responsibility for our faith. Let's go into this year not just admiring what the young people did in Portugal, but let's receive their witness. Let's receive the message of our church that calls us to also be joyful in the Lord.